Victor von Skream is a 34-year-old world-renowned scientist. He discovered how to predict earthquakes and the weather better than anyone else before him. However, he wasn't always this brilliant. When Victor von Skream was a child, he wasn't exactly scientist material, and he had no thought of being a scientist either. However, his effort to become a scientist started after a tragic event that changed him forever. Victor loved his parents very much, for they were kind and loving, but on a trip to Los Angeles, there was an earthquake. The earthquake was one of the biggest ones in history, and it created a hole that Victor's parents fell in. There were stalagmites at the bottom of the pit, and Victor was standing there above the hole, unable to do anything, as his parents were impaled on the rocks. This motivated him to create the technology that would allow him to predict earthquakes and prevent this from happening ever again. Recently, while studying the air quality, Victor von Skream discovered a deadly poison in the air that targets anyone who learns about it and wipes everyone's memory of said person, wipes their memory, and makes them fade away as if they never existed. After finding this, Skream was worried that he would be next, so he decided to warn as much of the world as he could before he was struck. However, everyone except two men thought he was crazy. The two men were 27-year-old Lenny Orkingston and 67-year-old Henry Timothy Jonathan Alvarez Lopez Carlos Valdez III. They both worked on global catastrophes, such as air pollution. While Skream was wondering why they, out of everyone, believed him, they announced that they knew how to stop this problem. Skream, Orkingston, and Valdez decided to meet on the bridge in town that stretches over the lake. While Victor was waiting for the others, he noticed a tingling feeling within him. And when people passed by, they didn't know who he was. He had hoped they were just not into science, so they wouldn't know him. However, when Orkingston and Valdez passed by him, they didn't know who he was either. He realized that he had been affected and that this was just stage one. He started screaming on the bridge, hoping someone would hear him, but it was too late. Victor von Skream knew he was a goner, but he tried to enjoy his last moments as they were. Then he realized, the air wasn't deadly unless you knew about it, so no one should have anything to worry about. With this knowledge, he tried to apologize to the air. Then he thought he was going insane until the air spoke back to him in a high-pitched voice. Skream then knew for sure he was insane.
You have done well, Earthborn child.
Earthborn? Said a surprised Skream. He wasn't expecting a deadly air spirit to be speaking in a high-pitched voice, so when he spoke, he stuttered.
Yes, is it not obvious now that there are other life forms within the cosmos?
Well, I suppose now it is. Skream then realized that he had a chance to ask if he could go back to existing. So, can you let me go back to living my life instead of here in this limbo-type place?
Unfortunately, even with what you have done, I cannot let you leave here unharmed.
So you're gonna kill me?
Nonsense! I just have to erase your memory of who I am.
But I don't know who you are.
Why, I am the great Lord Huff and Puff.
Okay, Your Majesty. Then how come the Lord sounds like a little girl?
Because the angrier I get, the louder pitch my voice gets. And if you insult me anymore, I will obliterate you.
Oh, excuse me. I didn't know the air was so sensitive. Skream had a plan to get out of here, but he needed to get Lord Huff and Puff angry enough to send him out of here without wiping his memory. I will say, though, you are quite menacing.
Why, thank you,
said Lord Huff and Puff. Clearly pleased. To maybe a mouse.
You will go no further. You will be sent away now.
Red leather, yellow leather.
Begone, foul beast.
And with that, he was off to home. However, Victor wasn't able to shake off the feeling that something was wrong. When Skream returned home, he noticed that his home had been robbed and all of his scientific equipment had been destroyed. What happened here? What kind of animal does this? The kind that knows you still know who they are. Lord Hufflepuff was now 3 times the size he was before. How did you get your voice so deep? Surgery. How does Eric get... I have my ways. Why would you do this? Because you manipulated me into letting you go without erasing your memory of me. I just wanted to remember what a magnificent being you are. You speak of nothing but these fabrications. That is why I did this. So you're not a magnificent being? Preposterous! Of course I'm magnificent, just like one of our many gods, Lejean. Yes, I suppose he is magnificent. How do you know of him? I found out a lot about your culture while I was studying your kind. Interesting. However, I must destroy you. Not if I suck you up with this vacuum.
Never mind. I need to eliminate you as disappeared.
With Hufflepuff gone, Skream was left to the rest of his problems. For example, all of his equipment. How am I gonna pay for all of this equipment? I can barely even pay for my own clothes. The equipment that Victor had could do many things. One of the machines could make anything taste like chocolate. This is useful for when he was on a diet. That, however, costed him $14 million. The only things that weren't destroyed were the security cameras and this, he said, as he pointed to a machine he used to use. It was called a Gingher Flubbermathunger. It instantly transferred all the information programmed onto it into the mind. He sat down in the machine and activated it. He woke up in the same spot, but everything was back to normal. Then he remembered it all. I programmed the machine with the story and then used the machine. That's why I was so confused when this machine was the only one not destroyed. But that means it was all just a dream. A dream that will never be returned to! Yelled Skream's cousin as he bashed the machine with a baseball bat. Gabriel, what's wrong with you?
You were in that machine for 2 weeks.
Well, in that case, destroy it, said Skream. They both grabbed some kind of blunt weapon and started hitting it. Suddenly, they both felt a disturbance. Then it was gone. Victor and Gabriel looked at each other, then continued smashing the machine. Once they were done, they went to the bridge and saw Henry Valdez III walking by with 2 of his limbs slowly disappearing. Gabriel fainted, and Victor started screaming on the bridge. Lenny Orkingston seemed to be trying to help Valdez get to the hospital before he disappeared completely. They went back to their house when suddenly they saw a strange stone in front of their door. It seemed to have weird incantations on it. Victor picked it up to inspect it when it shocked him and Gabriel. Then the rock vanished. Just then, a mysterious voice started talking, too quiet for anyone except Victor and Gabriel to hear. You two may have thought you solved your problems by smashing the machine. However, just as you saw on the bridge, there are other problems within the world. These two started out as dreams. Then they became reality. Many more dreams like this one will arise, and you two are the only ones that can stop them. You may not seem like it, but you are a hero, Victor, along with your cousin. You two will face many obstacles along your journeys. However, you will succeed as long as you work alongside each other. But beware, there will come a day that a seemingly harmless dream will appear. That will soon change. If you aren't careful when that dream arrives, you will not survive. Here are the URLs for the many pictures that I used. As you can see, I used a lot. But some of them were my own. For example, the picture of my magnificence and the picture of the Skream. The Skream I got from the pre-writing that Miss Martin sent us. I just copied that and put it into here. Sees he wanted to be in the story, so I put him in. Yeah.
Here's the full version of that really long name before that Miss Martin made me take out because it was too long. Enjoy.